Doing more with less, enjoying experiences, not purchases, getting more control over your space and time, and breaking free from shopping therapy. All these benefits come when you choose minimalism as a lifestyle or try to introduce certain aspects of minimalism into your everyday routine. But there are some challenges that minimalism brings, challenges that overcomplicate life instead of simplifying it. In today's video, I'll share with you 5 such challenges and possible ways to overcome them. And in the end of the video, I'll mention one thing that occurred to me only lately, and it's not that much spoken about. So if you're interested, make sure to watch the video till the end. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Anna, and on this channel I talk about minimalism, intentional and simple living, and personal adventures of a heavy-duty introvert. And if you're back, I'm so glad to have your company again. So, the first challenge is the paralysis of choice. Very often, when I have to buy something new for myself, be it a clothing item, shoes, makeup, skincare, etc., I spend hours choosing the best option, and I'm often paralyzed by the variety, by the choice that I have, because I'm so afraid to make a choice that will disappoint me in the future and not to choose the best variant. And when I'm paralyzed, I'm more prone to listening to someone else's advice and recommendation, and it's very easy for me to fall in the alluring trap of not owning my own decisions, which I don't like. Minimalism calls for more responsibility in purchases, and sometimes it feels like a substantial mental load. It's not easy to choose the best options, and very often it takes a lot of tries and errors, time and money to choose the best wardrobe, the best skincare regime, the best kitchenware set, you name it. Right now we have abundance of stuff at our fingertips, and if we have decided to own less, we naturally want that less to be of the best quality, to be the most lovable and beautiful things ever. There's a so-called paradox of choice, which suggests that instead of increasing our freedom to have what we want, the abundance of choice actually limits our freedom. In the book Paralysis of Choice, Why More is Less, Barry Schwartz writes, "Adding options can be detrimental to our well-being because we don't put rejected options out of our minds." Minimalism makes the overall paralysis of choice even worse. So how to overcome it? There is no magic pill, of course, but the most working tip, at least for me and from my own experience, is to lower your expectations. Something that you choose to own only one of doesn't have to be the best in the world. Very often, a good enough option is the best. And now on to the second challenge, which is the fear of losing, damaging, or breaking things. If you are a minimalist and own a very limited and highly curated wardrobe, most probably you have neither doubles nor replacements. And out of this scarcity comes the anxiety of breaking or damaging your things, because then you will have nothing to wear and you will have to buy something new. This is a no-problem situation for some people, but not for all. We all have different backgrounds and different life circumstances, and simply replacing a thing can be pretty challenging for those who have low income or special needs, or don't have that easy access to replacements due to the geography of living. For a long time, I've owned just one pair of sneakers or trainers at a time, and I was always very conscious about the weather outside, and I preferred not to go out at all if there was at least a slight chance of rain, because then if my shoes got wet, I would have nothing to wear, or I was afraid that then after getting wet, my shoes would get moldy or smelly, or I don't know, they would fall apart. I find it interesting and kind of controversial that on the one hand, minimalism is about detachment and seeing outside the material frame of things, but on the other hand, minimalism can also promote fixation of things. When we think about our possessions more than we should because we have so very few of them. My tip for dealing with this challenge is kind of cheesy. Don't forget that things are just things after all. They come and go whenever it's time. Try to adopt a more philosophical attitude to your possessions. Also, never rule out the possibility and opportunity of repairing what has been damaged. There are so many good old ways to revamp and restyle. By mending your belongings, you prolong their life, and this helps you enjoy your favorite things longer. By the way, in a new Patreon video this week, I show my recent clothes revamping projects and share a wish list of books that help take care of clothes in a minimalist and creative way. If you're interested to join the Patreon community, check out the description section. This revamping was so much fun and I used only what I already had, so it was a no-cost challenge for me. So I was kind of a good minimalist, but not a perfect one, because I try to stay away from perfectionism as much as I can, which is related to the next challenge that can be faced by minimalists. Excessive decluttering. Recently, I had to go through this challenge myself, but it wasn't induced by minimalism. It was rather forced by our life circumstances when we were moving countries and had to declutter a lot of personal belongings in order to fit everything in our very few bags without hurting our backs. And after months of nomading, I got so tired, so sick and tired of carrying all my belongings around in my own hands. And that's why I had to get rid of a lot of things, many things that I didn't want to declutter. And yes, I will have to replace some of them soon. It's my personal situation, but I can see how decluttering agenda now can take various weird and often not healthy forms. When we decide to pivot our life and start everything anew, very naturally we want to get rid of everything old. And when we do, we simply cannot stop, because decluttering is a very satisfying process with very satisfying results. And in some instances, only in some, simple decluttering can turn into compulsive decluttering. And it's an issue outside minimalism. It's all about stress, anxiety, and trauma, and the relief that is provided once you clear your space and declutter. You can get carried away searching for this type of relief and getting rid of too many things in your home. Compulsive decluttering is also known as obsessive-compulsive Spartanism, and it involves decluttering to the point when you have almost nothing left in the house. It's a mental health area, and I cannot give any advice here. It's always good to seek support and advice from a specialist, but as for the overall excessive decluttering, my best tip is to have a quarantine box or space where you put things that you would like to declutter, but it's just always good to give some time to decide whether to get rid of this thing or not. Don't force yourself to take decisions immediately. The next challenge that I want to talk about is guilt. Here is another personal example. My partner Brian has recently bought an all-in-one device with printer and scanner. We have to print and scan a ton of different documents and papers for some very important legal processes. And first we tried to find and book an affordable co-working space for that, or maybe to calculate how much it would cost to do everything in some random points, random services scattered around in Tbilisi. But then we found out that it would be much cheaper and more gentle on our mental health to get a new all-in-one device at a discount. It's a pretty old model, but still it works just fine. And also we thought that we could use it outside the bureaucratic side of our life, just for some art projects. And after that device was bought, Brian shared with me that he felt guilty for buying that printer and scanner thing, because he was thinking that he was wasteful and lazy, or I don't know, overly cautious. I also feel guilty sometimes when I buy something for myself, especially after I watch some YouTube videos titled like "I buy nothing." And in minimalism, guilt can come not only from buying things, but also from getting rid of things. My advice here is do whatever makes your life better and doesn't deteriorate the comfort of your everyday living routines. There is a balance that is so unique to everyone. I love having a printer and scanner at home because earlier I was so stressed when I had to print or scan some documents or my artwork in public spaces, and now having this device makes my life much simpler and calmer, so that's why there is no guilt here. And same with decluttering. Once I decluttered one of my most favorite dresses of all times, the one that I got complimented on very often and I felt so great wearing it, but there were some very bad, not bad, like challenging memories attached to it, and so I resold it. Of course, I understood that my memories are not going anywhere, but getting rid of that dress felt right and I felt so much relieved. And now, as I promised, I will talk about a challenge that I only recently thought of and that doesn't get that much coverage in the minimalist sphere. Over-management of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I think it's very natural to want to live in controllable space, but when it comes to relationships with other people, minimalism can make things pretty weird. Here I'm talking about gift giving in particular. Yeah, I bet if you have been practicing minimalism for a while, you already know that feeling when you are gifted something that you already see as clutter, which makes it so hard to feel and express genuine gratitude for the act of gift giving. I've had my personal issues. Trust me, when I got rid of gifts just immediately, or I felt very frustrated and angry, and I thought something like, and what am I supposed to do with that now? And those are the situations that I'm not proud of. People are more important than things, and minimizing people is so wrong. Gift giving is how many people express their love, and it is very important to remember that other people don't have to be just like you. They are not obliged to have the same taste or be minimalists. Gratitude and acceptance are very powerful tools for personal growth. Minimalists or not, we all are trying to live a better life in a more meaningful and intentional way, and I hope this video gave you some good food for thought. Please feel free to share in the comments your opinions and experiences. And thank you so much for being here, dear friends. I value your time and attention a lot. And huge thanks to everyone who supports me on different tipping platforms and on Patreon, where I post very personal, unique videos every week, because thanks to your support, this channel exists. And for now, as always, be safe and keep your heart open, and I will see you soon. Пока-пока.